Hello everybody, welcome back to all of the Blind Press channels. I hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. We are finally here to cover Anna versus Pearl, because why the hell not? It's two catty bitches bitching at each other. So why not laugh at it? And we all know that if you've watched this channel, I am no fan of Pearl Davis, but we also know that I am neither a fan of Anna Kasparian. So this is going to be a new feeling for me, watching a debate between two people that I don't like. Usually when I watch debates, it's like there's one person that I'm usually wanting to watch, right? That's usually how people are when they watch a debate. This is a different feeling. This is basically the closest that I will ever get to enjoying internet blood sports. Because I do not usually watch debates between people who I don't like. But it's a debate on feminism. And I just know that Pearl's gonna have some outlandish takes. And I know that Anna is, as much as I dislike her, she does prepare herself for debates. I have seen her debate before. And as much as I dislike her and I don't... well, she has kind of come a little bit closer to the center in the last bit of few years, but she's still rather more left-leaning than I would put myself, and I really just don't find myself aligning with her. But I will say that when she goes into a discussion or a debate, she does do her research. So this is going to be an interesting show. Before we get into that, though, I was just perusing the news while I was getting ready for the show, and I saw that the Liberal Party is trying to add a section to the online harms bill that they are hoping to pass. This would have been Bill C-63. For those of you who remember back in 2024. But because of the last federal election, Parliament was dissolved before C-63 could be finally voted on for the last time. So they revamped the online and called it now the Online Harms Bill. And they are trying to put in a section that I actually agree with, which is no social media for children under 14. Now, the problem with this is that we in Canada don't have a regulator to basically check that these rules are being followed, which is why so many kids now with the you must be 13. That's why so many kids just circumvent it by lying. And there's no way to verify. Now, this is where, UK and all that comes in with, oh, well, we'll just get a digital ID. No, we don't need to do that. But there does need to be stricter regulation on child access to social media. And there needs to be, honestly, some repercussions for parents who either don't care or don't know or don't care to know what their child is doing on the internet. I think just as we would punish by law a parent who lets their, or who doesn't notice their toddler escape the house in a diaper and whatever and wandering around like that's where you get the neglect charge, right? Why are we not pinning parents with neglect for their child's social media activity? Quite frankly, we need to be doing that. And let me tell you, children's activity on the internet and their access to predators on the internet, I guarantee you, would drop significantly if parents started receiving significant punishment by law. If, oh look, little Susie is using Snapchat when she's 10. And oh look, there's a pedophile now sending her messages. Well, that really is not good. Little Susie needs to be protected. Where the hell are little Susie's parents? Right? Like, that needs to be a question that is now put into that law. And I really hope that content creators, I know content creators are going to get punished for existing and speaking out about the stupidity that our government is doing. But it really sucks that we as content creators criticizing our government are going to get lumped into a very worthwhile idea, which is protecting kids from online harm. But unfortunately, the government is going to overstep and start attacking things that we as adults do online. And I don't just mean like spicy things that we adults do online. I mean opinions that we have. I mean criticisms that we have. And that's where it doesn't become online harm. It becomes holding our government accountable. And it's very crappy that our government cannot be trusted to delineate between the two boundaries of, okay, yeah, we need to keep our kids off social media because social media, adults can barely handle it. We have barely begun to understand the addictive quality of the internet and smartphones and social media on adult brains. We need to severely limit our children's access to social media. But we also need to not be sitting here looking at adults posting memes and reacting to horrible decisions and speeches by our government and going, that's bad. That is harmful to us because you're holding us to account. Like, it's not a good situation. But I just thought I would pass that news along to everyone before we jumped into this crazy bullshit with Anna and Pearl. Because, oh my, it's gonna be interesting. I listened to the opening statements and Pearl could barely connect a sentence. Anna had her ducks in a row. She had her research. She had her information on Pearl. She had her talking statement, her talking points in a nice little package. Pearl was sounding like the female Porky Pig. And if that's what we have to go by, then this is going to be a very, very interesting debate. I am going to make sure that our playback speed Okay, good. It is at 1.25. Good. Okay. However, we are going to want our volume up. There we go. All right. So, let's do this. And so now you guys can see the two on the stage as well as me, and we will begin our opening statements. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this debate, our main card, has a little bit of a different format than what we did previously. We're going to have the opening statements for both of you. Those will be 5 minutes apiece. Then you'll each get 10 minutes to kind of do an interrogatory of the other.
Okay.
That will go back and forth. And then after that, we'll go into open debate. As you saw with some of the other debates earlier, we try to let the other person answer. I'll try to jump in as I can, but for the most part, I want you all to mix it up, all right? Have fun with it.
Sounds good.
And who was first?
I'm first.
I thought so. Anna, take it away. We got 5 minutes.
I really like that. That is a good. We're gonna let Anna talk, but before we get into that, kudos to the host, because a lot of hosts kind of monopolize the time between debates and get annoying. That guy was short, to the point, explained everything, and was like, okay, go. I like this. I like this guy.
In a May 2024 appearance on Tim Pool's Culture War podcast, my opponent, Pearl Davis, declared that women aren't really doing much. We're not having kids. We're not really contributing to the economy when you look at output. In fact, she uses this ridiculous assertion to argue that women should not have the right to vote. While it's true the birth rate has declined, and we'll revisit that in a bit, women account for 47% of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the U.S. economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement.
I'll give her that. I will give her that. The feminist movement in the older feminist movement that was like, no, sir. I will be your receptionist, but you may not grab my breasts in the office as you walk by, and you may not smack me on the ass as I'm getting you a coffee. Okay, and if I wish to be a CEO as well, you may not, you know what I mean? That was the good kind of feminism.
By 2017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion. Of course, that figure doesn't include the trillions of dollars in unpaid labor women do every year, tending to the household, raising children, and caring for ailing parents.
Well, I'm sorry, but this is gonna sound retarded, but if you're a mom and you're at home and you've got your kids and shit at home and you get tax credits for your kids, isn't that kind of I don't know.
And when it comes to certain sectors of our economy, women are a dominant and indispensable force.
Yeah. Like
in the healthcare industry, where they make up nearly 80% of workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's 16.4 million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl herself benefited from after graduating from Elmhurst University.
See, she did her research. She's like, see, I know you, Pearl. I read up on you.
Women also earn over 60% of master's degrees. I hope to hear Pearl explain how a more educated and skilled population somehow translates to cultural decline, especially as we compete with China in this increasingly multipolar world.
Very good point.
The modern feminist movement also had a major impact on decreasing domestic violence, and that's according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Rates of intimate partner violence decreased by more than 60% from 1994 to 2010.
Yeah, now now the women are beating each other up in lesbian relationships.
And that's thanks to protective order statutes and funding for shelters beginning in the 1970s and 80s. Not only did the two-income household become more financially resilient, especially during economic downturns, women gained the ability to leave abusive relationships, an outcome correlated with improved child health and educational attainment.
Okay, yes.
A culture that protects people from violence is not one that's indicative of cultural decline. Pearl herself has benefited greatly from the feminist movement, thanks to Title IX in 1972, signed by Nixon, of course. Sex-based discrimination in any school program or activity that receives federal funding is prohibited. Pearl herself had a rather impressive record playing for Elmhurst University's volleyball team, having earned all conference honors as a senior. She later pursued professional volleyball in London. She could have stayed in the United States and served in her role as a traditional woman, but she didn't. And she could have been the traditional chaste woman living out her dream of everything women were supposed to do before feminism, but she is neither traditional nor chaste by her own admission.
That's awesome. I love that. I'm sorry. I do not like Anna. I keep saying this, but she's not wrong. She's like, Pearl, you're like, you want to be, you always talk about how women should be this quiet, demure, traditional, baby-making, house-cleaning flesh robot. Why are you none of those things, Pearl? That's basically what Anna just said. I love that.
While feminists would have no problem with her personal choices, she has made a career bashing women for theirs.
Not all feminists who would have no problem. I'm just saying.
Critics often argue that modern feminism has weakened families and resulted in a lower birth rate. They tend to dismiss empirical evidence demonstrating the insidious impact of the internet, social media on modern relationships. They also brush economic instability under the rug, despite young people citing their personal finances as the main reason why they're holding off on marriage in the first place.
That is true. A lot of young people are afraid of financial instability. That's why they don't have kids or get married. There's also like Anna did say, the impact that social media has on relationships, especially the ones that run to Reddit advice threads for, what do I do? My boyfriend and I had a fight. Or like all those people during COVID who had barely been together or had been together for a couple of years, but because of their jobs didn't actually spend a lot of time together and just completely fell apart during COVID. And it's all because they have this weird, they watch these supposedly happy people on TikTok, or on the flip side, they see these people who have left narcissistic relationships posting about their journey, and these people, instead of having open communication with their partners, just read all of their negative thoughts about their partner into their experience, their viewing experience, and then they're like, oh, my partner's just like this girl's ex, I need to leave.
In lieu of discussing those factors, Pearl spends much of her time discouraging men from getting married in the first place.
Yeah.
During her debate with Trent Horn, she declared that men are better off shacking up without ever getting married.
Yes, she did.
Her reasoning? Women are too fat and STD infected.
25%, that's a lot.
Pearl, shut up. This is opening statements. You're not allowed to talk.
Did say that. She didn't stop to think about how they contracted the STDs in the first place.
Right?
Data from the national...
the STD fairy just showed up and bestowed the STD upon the woman.
The Library of Medicine show that modern men are just as promiscuous as modern women. Men and women are in bad shape, and in the United States, we can discuss why, but feminism is not the reason.
Very good. Thank you.
Nice. Nicely done.
Nice job. Okay, Pearl, we got 5 minutes. You're going to be on the clock, and let's go.
Most debaters and commentators are elitists who tell average Americans from their ivory towers what to think and how to feel.
Then why
My
are you
answer to
there?
this question not only comes from covering current events and researching the facts, data, and statistics, but also in my professional experience interviewing over 1,000 people in America and Western nations. Feminism has given women power, and power corrupts. And that's what's happening. Feminism is robbing men of their disposable income and their prime earning years.
Pearl, aren't your parents ludicrously rich, and isn't your mother like a doctor of some kind? I could have sworn I read that. Like, her mother is an incredibly successful businesswoman in her own right. Like, what the hell is she talking about?
Feminism has empowered women. It has empowered women to be sexually promiscuous. Feminists say that they fought for women to not subject themselves to the approval of men. Why then are 5 to 10% of women between the ages of 18 to 25 on OnlyFans or other prostitution websites?
5 to 10% of all... Wait, okay. Let's just say that she's right. Okay? Let's just say that she's right. And we will put 5 to 10% of 18 to 25-year-old women on OnlyFans. Out of how many women is she basing this 5 to 10%? And out of how many countries? Is it just the United States? Is it North America only? Is it all of women all over the world? Because there are almost 8 billion people on this planet. So if you're gonna say that 5 to 10% of those people of women between 18 to 25, so that's also, let's divide, like, that's an insanely, I don't think so.
There are more online prostitutes in America than female Walmart employees.
What? What?
1 of 3 women will catch an STD at some point in their lifetime. 90% will catch HPV, which is incurable. Feminism has empowered women to abort 1/8 of the world population and 1/3 of Gen Z.
Does she... Where... Like, do you notice that Anna actually, in her opening statements, had citations for what she was talking about? And Pearl's just, like, vomiting facts that I think she honestly made up.
Feminists have been so empowered to commit paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is unpunished in any state in the USA or any country in the West. If done correctly, a man will have to pay for a child he was fooled into believing was his until that child reaches maturity. In some states, that man will also have to pay for that kid's college. That is slavery and is forbidden under the 13th Amendment.
That is slavery? Oh my god, that is slavery. No, my dear. That is... If that is true, that is fraud. That is not slavery. They do not literally own the man. Okay? The man, even though he's like paying for that kid unrightfully, right? Like, he can still have another relationship. He can still have like other things happen in his life. He's not literally in the basement of his ex's house, like, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, is it my dinner time yet?
1/3 of paternity tests are negative by the American Association of Blood Banks. Feminism has empowered women to rob men.
Wait, 1/3 of paternity tests are negative. Okay, so that means 1/3 of these women that you're shitting on are actually shitty. That means the rest of them are rightfully getting paternity tests done and collecting child support from men who don't want to pay it. I think you've just proven your point wrong.
Rob men of their time, their resources, their reputation, their children, and in the most extreme cases, their lives.
Oh my lord. Woo! Listen to the
They do this through child support, alimony, false allegations, and paternity fraud. How many people in this arena have a brother, a father, an uncle, or a friend who has gone through this meat grinder? Anna has been on the air for 15 years and is completely oblivious to these issues. It's a silent genocide.
It's a silent genocide. Oh my god. Oh my lord. This feels like Roma 2020. It feels like Roma 2020 just on crack.
Of the lives of millions of men. Standing on the sidelines of the arena, I have 33-year combat veteran Terrence Popp. He served through 3 wars and was almost killed in 2. He got married, had 2 children, and served in the United States Army.
Stand on the shoulders of a combat veteran, you absolute cow.
Terrence Popp was deployed to Iraq in 2004, and as a member of the airborne infantry, he was wounded by a roadside bomb and suffered a TBI and a stroke from the blast. He was evacuated out of the country, and it took over 2 years until he had recovered. While he was recovering, his wife was plotting to divorce him. His wife murdered his 6-year-old chocolate lab out of spite because he filed for divorce first. When he confronted her, the response he got was, "I told you I did not want you living here."
Yes, yes. His wife was a horrible woman. That does not mean that every woman is a horrible woman. On the flip side, there are terrible men. That does not mean that every single man is a terrible man. Why are people so insane?
At this point, he was forced to leave the marital home and live out of his car. The divorce took away his home, his children, and left him penniless and saddled with a child support payment he could not afford. Terrence had to pay $144,000 over a 12-year period for a divorce that his wife was empowered by feminists to plan and execute.
Yes. There's a league of feminists. Like the League of Doom. And they go around looking for married women, convincing them to divorce their husband.
Terrence went into court to fight for 50-50 custody.
Holy
Terrence was called a
fuck,
murderer
bro.
and an assassin in open court and was given 96 hours a month with his children. 96 hours a month is not a father. While homeless, he spoke to many other men who would never get off the streets due to child support arrearages
This is
and
not
penalties,
an opening
and
statement,
the men
Pearl.
constantly getting
This
arrested
is
for
the
unpaid child
monologue
support.
that you
The
should be
disparage of
using
losing
in
his
your
children and his home,
interrogatory.
and his PTSD and constant pain from his wounds, he became suicidal. While at his post in 2008, a former commander of his came to see him to secretly say his last goodbyes. The next day, Mr. Popp's former commander put on his dress blues and went to the Holy National Veterans Cemetery and blew his brains out. Terrence Popp was notified of the death and was shocked because he was planning to commit suicide in the exact same manner. So in effect, his former commander took the bullet that was meant for him. Terrence Popp decided he would not kill himself and spent the last 20 years saving...
This is me reading a story that I don't give a fuck about, with no heart, no soul, and
576 men from suicide with comedy. If you look to the left of the stage, Terrence is holding the dog tags for every life that he has saved.
What a terrible woman you
Now,
are.
why am I telling you this? Shout out to Terrence. Yeah. Now, why am I telling you this? Because men and American
you're a
veterans are put in this
horrible
position
person
because of the empowerment
who
that
stands
feminists like
on the
Anna have
backs
pushed
of
for.
actual
There are millions of men
suffering.
that have died in this country from the political power that feminism pushes. Since 1970, an estimated 1.6 million men have committed suicide.
Time. Stop there.
Ha
If feminists cared about equality, why aren't they fighting for equality in divorce and family court as hard as they are fighting for abortion?
Oh yeah, I actually had a question that I was supposed to ask, not just monologue. Oops.
Working or becoming sex workers?
Oh,
Okay. This is gonna be a heavy one. We're gonna go now to the opening interrogations. We have 10 minutes. Do we have that on the clock?
oh, lordy.
It's fading in right there. Okay, and take it away. 10 minutes.
Who's interrogating who?
Whoever wants to begin.
Aside from the specific anecdote that you shared, which of course is tragic,
And it
can you
happens all the
cite some
time.
actual studies that look
Thank
at these
you, Anna.
statistics and back up what you say in regard to the outcomes of marriage and divorce in America?
41% of 109
No,
rape
no, no,
cases
no, no,
reported
no,
to
no.
police in a Midwestern
She
city.
didn't ask for more numbers, you idiot. She asked for the studies where you got them.
Were admitted to be false by complainants.
In one Midwestern city? And which Midwestern city was that?
You know, you can go from your ivory tower and tell
I'm not in
people
an
what
ivory
to
tower.
think
I'm
and
on
how
this
to
debate
feel.
stage interrogating your assertions, and you've only provided an anecdote.
Right.
Because if you look at the
Question.
data, which I did, of course, you'll find that women are twice as likely to fall into poverty after divorce.
Right, because they can't
Alimony
stop
is paid
spending.
out in 10% of divorces.
Yeah, that's true.
According to the Census Bureau, the average child support payment is $441 a month, and only 60%
Right, but how
of
much are
those
they
payments
making?
get paid out.
How much-
Women do not get child custody 90% of the time, as you have asserted before. In fact, 95% of custody cases are mutually agreed upon outside of the courtroom.
Yep. That's true. That is very true. Because most of the time, it's not like you're like horrifying TV divorce, right? It's just like, hey, we can't live together anymore. Let's divide shit up amicably.
Women get full custody 40% of the time. Men do get full custody 20% of the time. And 40% of the time, it's shared custody, which I think is the ideal situation, assuming that neither spouse is abusive.
Agreed, because then in shared custody cases, there is no child support going back and forth because each parent has the child 50-50. So they're paying they're paying equally for their room, their board, their food, everything. So yeah.
And Pearl, excuse me, before you respond, if you could take your microphone out and hold it, it would be easier to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, Pearl, hold your microphone.
Alimony and medical care and dental are not covered by that, so a lot of times it does go above 50%.
By what?
Again, you can go through
They're not covered. Alimony and dental and child care aren't covered by that. By what? Custody agreements?
facts, the data, and the statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not
But
manipulation.
there are
Those are the
1.6
stats.
million, there are
That's you,
1.6
Pearl.
million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really? What is it?
Oh my
Comparative
god!
analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
Go ahead, Pearl.
What's your next question?
You have to answer the first question.
You have asserted that men shouldn't get married, that instead they should
I didn't
shack
say
up.
that.
You did say that with
did
Trent
not say
Horn. Word for word, you said it makes more sense for them to shack up, live with a girlfriend, instead of getting married. Do you think the advice that you give to men is the type of advice that will fulfill their lives? Because I'll tell you one thing, the best part of my life is my husband. I love my husband. He's my rock, he's my foundation. And no, my husband is number one. I love my career, but you know what my career did? When I met my husband, my career was already established. He, on the other hand, was couch surfing, he was in debt, and didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. I married him anyway. You wanna know why? Because I had the economic freedom to marry for love, not for some Chad to take care of me.
How tall is he?
What the fuck? How tall is he? Holy shit, Pearl. That's your question. That's your question. How tall is he? Is your question. Are you fucking... You make me ashamed to be female, Pearl.
Oh, he's 6'1", about your height. None, I don't want kids.
Let's not do shouting questions from there, please. Allow these two to debate each other.
Okay, what's your question?
I mean, you don't really have much to answer, so I don't know what else to ask you. Do you think you're helping men by discouraging them from entering fulfilling marriages?
What happens to men if they don't pay child support?
I mean,
What happens? What happens, Anna?
how many men do you think get
What
arrested?
happens to
I don't know
men
what the
when they
number
don't
is,
get- Hey,
but the
What
idea that
happens
there's
to
like a
men when
huge
they
number
don't-
of men getting arrested for not doing what they're supposed to do
15%.
and take care of their children, it's not a huge issue.
What happens to men when they don't
Really,
pay child support?
only
You
60%
gotta-
of
hold
child
on,
support
Hannah.
payments
You
get
gotta
paid
allow
out.
you gotta allow her to interrogate you, not them. You gotta stop yelling questions at her.
You can minimize men's problems all you want, but I don't think you understand how privileged of a position you're in.
The hypocrisy and the projection. Holy Jesus. Oh my God. This is insane. The fact that you can sit on a stage and argue from the place that you're arguing, Pearl, shows you have way more privilege than oh my God.
In what way? How am I privileged?
Men are the ones that are on the hook for child support. Men are the ones that are on the hook for alimony.
There are
It's
women
easy
that
for you to
pay
tell
child support.
tell men to just take the risk when you're not in that position.
So are you asserting that men shouldn't pay child
Men-
support following a divorce? Do you believe that women should
feminists
be
wanted-
financially
feminists-
responsible 100% after a
Feminists
divorce?
wanted to be equal. So
Yeah.
I say be equal. If you guys want equality, 50-50 custody, no child support, no alimony, no special privileges.
That's how 40% of cases turn out, you idiot. That's what Anna already said.
Alimony is paid out in 10%
It doesn't
of
matter
divorces.
if you're part of the
It does
10%.
matter. It does matter because you make it seem like it's a widespread issue when it's only 10%.
The 10 doctrine is a sexist law against men. That's sexist.
How is it sexist if a woman decided to forego a career, decided to be a stay-at-home mother, and the marriage doesn't work out, she has no job, she has no income, so you think it's unfair to get support from her ex-husband so she can raise the kids, so she can pay?
60% of kids under 5 have daycare. Daycare is an option now. You wanted to be men.
Do you know how much daycare costs?
Right? Like, fuck. Even with subsidy, daycare is expensive. Like, daycare is almost a mortgage payment. Especially if you have them full-time in daycare so that you can work. It is almost to the point, actually it's a lot of the time it's past the point where people decide, you know what, it will cost us less money for me to stay home and not work and save money on childcare than to have two parents working.
You wanted to be men. Here
Do you know how much
it.
daycare costs? Do you think it's free?
Let her answer.
A lot of things are expensive, Anna. I mean, it's
That's
men.
not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye. You spend money on Botox. You spend money.
You should think about it. I sure am.
You spend money all of the time.
So do you! You're a fucking volleyball player in London. You don't think you don't spend money on fucking shoes and training gear and water bottle? Ugh.
Yep.
So you wanted to be men. Here it is. You're equal. Pay for daycare.
Equality means that when you have a child or children, you're both responsible. So the idea that the woman should take 100% of the costs on herself without any help from her husband or ex-husband is ridiculous. How is that fair?
Well, how is it fair that he doesn't get 50-50 custody?
Okay, well, first of all, there are a lot of cases where they do get 50-50 custody. And then there are cases where the court has to step in and have a guardian ad litem appointed and assess each parent and be like, okay, well, guess what? This parent is not set up to have the child half of the time. It would be detrimental to the child to have them at this place half the time. So the other parent needs to have more custody. It's not to punish the parents that the other parent has more custody. It's because it's safer for the kid. You absolute moron.
Well, first of all, why are you asserting that they don't?
It's 50% his DNA. Why can't he have 50% custody? Where
there
has
was a study.
I've been
Let me answer your question, even though I
different-
should be interrogating you. I'll answer your question. Massive study out of Massachusetts that looked at 24,000 divorces. Mm-hmm. In those 25 divorces, they found that in only 8% of cases did men ask for custody. 8%.
Right, because the average American can't afford divorce fees, Anna.
But
so the average American man can't afford divorce fees, but fuck you, pay for childcare for the women, right?
women
It
can
costs
afford to
$25,000
raise the
to
children
get a
by themselves
divorce.
without support from the ex-husband. How does that make sense?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. Verbal talking.
You're complaining about the costs while simultaneously arguing that a woman should not get child support in order to raise the children that the former couple had together.
Are you guys equal or not? You want to
Yes,
be equal.
equality means that you're both responsible
50
for raising the children, and that includes the
so
costs
you should have
of raising
equality,
the children.
but not at the expense of men. 50-50 custody, 50-50, no child support.
Do you even know what you're saying? She's like 50-50 custody, 50-50, 50-50.
No alimony. That's equality. You don't want
Alimony
equality.
makes sense if
You
the
want-
woman was
you
a
want-
stay-at-home mother and doesn't have a source of income. How else would she take care of the kids following a divorce?
By getting a job just like the men.
Okay, when is she supposed to go out and get the job if she has the kids? That's the point. Alimony isn't supposed to be for the rest of her life. Alimony is supposed to be for like a couple of years at most. Like, again, it's not like you see on TV in 2.5 Men where frickin' Alan had to pay Judith until she got remarried. Like, Jesus Christ.
Equality. You don't.
Alimony
equality.
makes sense if
You
the
want-
woman was. So you're saying that a woman who doesn't have recent job history is just going to willy-nilly enter the job force or workforce, I should say, and easily get hired. Do you guys care
Men
about
do
this?
it.
So do you care about the children or not? Because you're making this about like the
What are you, a
poor
woman? That's
husband, the
emotional.
poor ex-husband who doesn't want to pay the child support.
You can tell who has never ever been around divorcees, right?
Doesn't want, to take on any of the responsibilities of having children in the first place. Why is it that you seem to have a problem with men carrying out their responsibilities? But when it comes to
men are dying to care about their responsibilities. Men
Really?
are fighting to be a part of their kids' lives.
what's the empirical data on that?
I don't need data. How many people in here have
I don't need data. I don't need data in a debate. Holy fuck! This is what the shit am I listening to? I don't need
a
data.
family or a friend fight for their kids not to be able to get it. The reason that this happens, Anna, is because lawyers tell them not to fight because it's so expensive and they won't win.
What is
They
that
won't
based on?
win.
You have to provide.
It's based on me, says some simp from the audience. Jesus Christ. Pearl. The fact that these men will only simp for you through their voices and not ever, actually marry you should tell you how unlovable you are. Maybe you should just stop.
Pearl, I am open to be convinced, but I need more than anecdotes. I need more than vibes and feelings. Because we're talking about something serious here. We're talking about raising children. We're talking about the shared responsibility of raising children. That, of course, includes the cost.
90% of disputed custody goes to women.
Yes, because usually if it's disputed, there's an issue. Now, you could make the argument that there are a lot of women who are just as batshit crazy as the exes that they've taken the kids from, and maybe sometimes even they're crazier and have just done a better job at lying. And maybe the kids should be going 50-50. You could make that argument. But again, you'd need frickin' empirical evidence for that, Pearl.
That's not equal.
You can't just have a
90%. That's a totally made up statistic. Where are you citing that from?
All right, let's take a break there because our time actually ran up.
She has no answer. She just sighs in aggravation. Ugh! She's asking me for fucking sources again. Ugh! This is like that petulant teenager who hands in an essay that's like a history essay, right? That's completely full of bullshit. And the teacher's like, okay, where's your bibliography? What do you mean? You know, the list of sources you used. Oh, I have to fucking... That's what she sounds like.
Those open interrogations are over. Let's take a moment here. I'm going to grab a sip of water. All right. The next step is going to be 30 minutes. We're going to open it up. Again, open debate. I'd remind you guys, I know everyone's passionate about this. I get that. But we can't have multiple people debating at the same time, right? We got one debater here. We got one debater here. Let's keep it here. All right? Let's put 30 minutes on the clock. And let's begin the open debate. Pearl, I'll let you pick up here. Go ahead.
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
There are consequences for it, especially when
Which
there's a
are?
court order for them to
Which
carry
are?
out their responsibility and pay child support
lose
so that
their
child can be
license.
raised.
And what happens
Do you
if they
think
don't
there
pay
shouldn't
it?
be legal responsibilities or legal consequences if they fail to carry out a court order to, take care of their kids?
I've interviewed men that have paid millions of dollars in
Don't
child
care about your
support and
interviews.
they're-
Anecdotal evidence doesn't matter. What I need is actual statistic, empirical evidence.
And it takes a long time for those consequences to kick in. Like, you have to go through the child support, like, you have to file, first you have to go to court, and then you have to file with the child support office in your state or province or region. Then you have to, like, it takes forever. For the first stage of consequences, which is you lose your driver's license for a week. Then you fucking go to jail for a couple of days if you keep it up. Then you get a lien put on your house. Like, it takes years for that shit to go through. It's not just like child support is like raining down on these women. Like, again, she's picking these like super rich people to interview that have these millions of dollars to pay their exes. Like, normal people do not have this process. Like, it's a completely different process that takes forever to go through.
They should pay their child support.
Yep.
$441
What happens-
is the average child support payment. $441
Yeah.
a month.
See, Anna is talking about like normal middle class people paying child support. Pearl is trying to throw, I've interviewed men who have paid millions of dollars. Yeah, because you go to fucking interview like football players and like people who have made millions of dollars in investing and whatever. Like, of course they have to pay more. You moron. They earn more.
Yeah, that's for someone that makes $24,000 a year.
You just told me a woman can just go to work and take care of the kids totally by herself.
How does a guy live when he's paying $500 a month on $24,000 a year?
You think $500 a month is too much in child support?
Think of all the family court cases we've been watching where it is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 hearings before the woman even gets... Yeah! Looking at legal stuff, we see so many family court cases where... And let me tell you, the amount of women that show up in family court expecting that just because they're a woman, that the judge is going to be like, oh, poor you, here's everything. No. Judges do not fuck around in family court. If a mother is endangering a child and the guardian ad litem can prove it and the father can prove it, the judge is going to come down hammer and fire and brimstone on a mother. So for Pearl to sit there and just fucking, like, she's got nothing to stand on.
Child support. Do you know how much it costs to raise a child? Do you know how much childcare costs, for instance? I mean, that mother has to go to work, right? Where's the kid going to stay while that mother is working? How is she going to pay for the
What happens to men when they don't
daycare?
pay child support?
Sorry, say that again?
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
There are legal repercussions for not
What-
carrying out a court mandate
Do you think
to
that
do something.
Do you think
Why is she not getting that?
that fraud should be illegal?
Absolutely.
It is illegal! What do you mean, do you think fraud should be illegal? It is illegal.
Okay. So why is it not illegal for women to fraud men on paternity? If a man does not find out he's the father over the age of 2, he is on the hook for child support for 18 years.
That's a law. That's a state law issue, if that's even true, first of all. And second of all, even in your opening statement, you even said 1/3 of paternity tests are negative, which means that 66% of the time, the women are correct and the child is that man's. Which means 33% of the time is what you're talking about. So, what are you talking about?
I don't know
Where
what the
have you
law
been on
is
this
when it
issue?
comes to
A
that.
third-
But it's wrong. If you're lying about paternity, that is wrong, and there should be legal
Well,
consequences
why
for
haven't
that.
feminists fought?
It's that simple.
Then why aren't feminists fighting for it, Anna?
Because feminists fight for women, obviously.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
At the expense of men. You guys want to believe women at the expense of men. Why isn't Amber Heard in jail? Because of the Me Too movement.
Because Amber Heard is not in jail because the case that Johnny Depp brought against her was not a criminal case. You absolute retard. That is why Amber Heard is not in jail. Because he did not go to the police and say, I would like her criminally charged for lying under oath and saying that I SA'd her with a fucking Maker's Mark bottle. Which he very well should have done. But he did not. He sued her for defamation. That is not a crime. That is a civil case. That is why she's not in jail. Derpa derpa.
You guys push believing all rape victims, and now we have rape.
Amber Heard had to pay out a massive settlement.
Yeah, but why isn't she in jail?
You want her in jail?
Yes.
Well,
She ruined his
the penalties
life.
for defamation.
What happens to women when they don't pay child support? The exact same fucking thing. Exactly! Exactly! Women who have to pay child support and don't, they lose their driver's license, they go to jail, they get a lien on their property. Like, what are you talking about?
Are what the court's decision is, right? You want people to go to prison for defamation?
He had to go to 2 different countries to clear his name.
Yes, he did. Civilly. What do you want? Do you think that people who commit civil infractions should go to jail? There is a reason developed countries have a legal system that divides things into categories such as criminal and civil. Like, seriously, do you think if, say, you have a dispute with your neighbor over the fence falling down, over who should fucking pay for it, that you guys should both go to jail until it's figured out? What the fuck?
Why isn't she in jail? He lost millions of dollars.
To be clear, you think the penalty for defamation is prison time?
I think the penalty for a false accusation is that the woman should get the same
And
time that
nobody
he would have
goes to
gotten if
jail
he was
for
found
perjury.
guilty.
Men
That
don't go to
is
prison
true.
for defamation.
That
And see, this
true.
is the problem with feminists. You want all these freedoms, but you won't actually be equal.
I do
Be
want
equal.
equality.
No, if you wanted to be equal, you would fight for 50-50 child support, no alimony.
No alimony.
Okay. Pearl. Do you not understand the history of how we've had things divided up in society? And also, do you not know that if a woman, for example, if let's say, for example, because this does happen, there are stay-at-home dads, okay? And let's say that there is a stay-at-home dad and the woman is like the CEO of some insane lingerie company and rakes in a salary of like $1 million a year, okay? And they divorce. The judge is gonna make her pay alimony until the husband can get a fucking job. That's how that works. You dork.
So again, if a woman decided to forego working, decided to stay home to raise the children, and the marriage doesn't work out, she's got no income whatsoever, she doesn't deserve any
women
alimony.
Aren't even doing that. Number one, that's not even women are not staying home with the kids. And number two, you have.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what now? Women are not staying home with the kids. Oh, okay. Then what the fuck did I do? And what the fuck are half the parents in this town that I'm living in doing?
Daycare.
A lot of women do these days,
you
actually.
have daycare
The traditional
Again.
women who want to stay home, they want to be traditional wives, and you trash them all the time, which I don't understand.
if feminists
It seems like
cared
women
about
can't do anything
equality,
right when it comes to you, right?
Nope.
If
They're
feminists-
stay-at-home moms, they're
if-
traditional, they're...
I understand that you can personally attack me. That's
I'm not personally attacking you.
Oh wow. Oh, the victim mentality. You can attack me. It's okay. I can handle it, Anna. Oh wow. Oh wow. And yet, all these men, all they do for you, Pearl, is shout. They don't actually want you around them physically. They'll just support you verbally from afar. And yet you want to shit all over women that can, have men in their lives for more than 30 seconds and have children and a home and happiness.
Can you?
Okay.
These are things that you have said on the record multiple times.
But if you cared about equality, you would care about false accusations.
I do care about false accusations,
No,
yeah.
you don't.
You don't know
How do
me.
you know?
You don't know what I care about.
Look, all right. Let's talk about rights that men do not have. Men do
Wait, well, what?
not have the right to be enlisted in selective service. We have 125K men who were drafted and buried overseas.
Wait, men do not have the right to be enlisted in selective service?
Think about that over a second. You talk about the oppressions of the past, but how many men died in World War I and World War II and had no choice? And yet Anna complains about oppression.
What the fuck? You have to reach back between 80 and 100 years for the draft. To protect the free world against Nazis, like the actual kind of Nazi, not today's Nazi, the real Nazis, okay? You gotta reach all the way back in time for that. And then you gotta go, and Anna wants to talk about oppression. What the fuck? That is a complete non sequitur. Those two things there's no correlation or cause and effect loop between men being drafted in the First and Second World War and the only thing I can think of is the reason that they died is so that we have the freedom to sit here and have this bitchy debate. That's... I don't get where she's going here.
Men do not have
rethink
the
our
right to
foreign
face
policy.
their accuser in court when they have a false allegation and for personal protection orders that strips constitutional rights away from the man. Women go before a judge and say they don't feel safe, and more than likely a PP order will be issued. The man was not in court, had no say, has no defense, and does not get to face his accuser.
Pearl,
That is
women died in World War II. They were called nurses and administrators. Exactly.
en masse, and many servicemen and first responders lose their careers over
There
this
were
because
nurses. There were battlefield nurses that were women in the fucking Civil War. Sometimes, Jesus Christ.
strips a man's Second Amendment rights away based on no evidence.
I'm sorry,
Matters
what?
over this because it strips a man's Second Amendment, and many servicemen and first responders lose their careers over this because it strips a man's Second Amendment rights away based on no evidence.
Okay. So you're mad that there's not a big, massive kerfuffle to change the law to punish women for falsely accusing men? Okay. I'll get behind that, but that's not just a feminist thing. That's an everybody should be fighting for that thing.
Men
Where are
do
you
not
getting
have the
that
right to
information
raise
from?
their children. Divorce is no
Wait,
fault.
men do
But
not
when it
have
comes
a
to
right
child
to raise their
custody,
children.
it's always
Where are you
not
getting
the
that
right to
information
raise their
from?
children. Divorce is no fault, but when it comes to child custody, it's always the man's fault. He loses his children to the system.
I actually know somebody personally who, in the throes of drug addiction, managed to get full custody of both of his kids because his ex was that fucked up. Okay? So don't sit here and tell me men don't have a right to raise their children after divorce. What the fuck?
96 hours a month the father does not make. Men have longer prison sentences. Women get a third of the time for the same crime. Where are the feminists fighting for equality on that issue? There has been rampant discrimination against better qualified men in hiring across multiple industries. Men pay more child support, and child support orders are not enforced at the same rates between men and women. Women are more likely
women pay
not
child
to
support.
pay
Fascinating.
and are prosecuted for non-payment at lower rates. Men cannot opt out of parenthood.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Men cannot opt out of parenthood. Yes, they can. It's called signing your rights away. What are you talking about?
Men have very few domestic violence shelters and are not taken seriously when they're domestic violence victims.
Okay. Again, this is a human problem that we should all be fighting to change, not a feminism issue.
I agree on that.
White men in particular, are discriminated against when it comes to hiring and educational attainment.
True.
The Duluth model is a model that law enforcement, courts, and counselors use automatically that assumes men are the aggressor. The tender years doctrine is a guideline in divorce used to justify removing the father from the child's life. The only institutional sexism that exists is institutional sexism that discriminates against men in favor of women. Furthermore, U.S. courts do not require receipts to show how that money is spent by the custodial parent.
Well, okay, so why should they? Why should they require receipts? I don't think they should. Unless there are specific unless there's a specific issue where there are specific accusations, there shouldn't need to be receipts to show what you spent your money on. Like, the only time my mom and dad ever passed, receipts to each other for stuff involving me was like, okay, here's the receipt that shows I paid for the piano lessons, and so that your half was, I showed you that your half was spent on piano lessons. Okay, here's the receipt for the registration for blind summer camp. Okay, yes, your half went to blind summer camp. That's the only time there were receipts. Other than that, the monthly money that was sent was just sent. And it was the same with my sister. What do you mean you don't have to show receipts?
Unless there's overwhelming evidence of starvation, malnutrition, or severe child abuse. There are numerous reports of custodial
You want the
parents
government to check receipts and see,
child abuse. There are numerous reports of custodial
You want the
parents
government
spending
to
the
check
money
receipts
on
and see,
luxury.
Let's let her respond to some of that.
Hold on, let's understand something. You want government to be so big that you literally have the government looking at receipts to see what a mother is spending the money on?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for catching that, Anna. That's a good catch. Very, very good catch. That's wow. That's a very good observation. I need to quickly refill my water and go to the bathroom. And then we're going to step back into this. So I'm going to hit the be right back button. And I will mute my mic, and then we will... Hello, keyboard. Don't be a dickhole. Oh, come on. There we go. Why does it do that sometimes? Okay. There we go. Now I'm gonna go mute my mic and turn up the music, and I shall return in a couple minutes. Okay. I have returned. Okay, let's get back over here. There we go. All right, this is nuts. This is insane. Okay, here we go. I can't believe she's this stupid. And this, like, it's crazy. Like, you see Pearl in small doses, and you think to yourself, you know, this can't be how stupid she is. Yep, it is exactly how stupid she is. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's get back to this screen share mode. Okay, here we go.
That's insane.
I want no child support, no alimony, 50-50.
Yeah, because you're crazy and you don't live in reality.
I want equality. I'm more of a feminist than you, Anna. Because I say if you want to vote, be in selective service. Be on the front lines just like the men are.
Who do you think gives birth to and raises those soldiers?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because...
wait, what? Wait, what? What does that have to do with anything? The fact that if you don't have women around to give birth to the soldiers in selective service, then the soldiers in selective service don't exist.
Because you assert that women shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're not all in mandatory military service.
I say be equal. You want to vote, do what the men do. Men are fined $125,000.
Should women be included in combat? Should women be included in combat?
Yes.
Okay.
Do what the men do.
Fair.
Do what the men do.
Yeah.
Okay, but then if women should be included in combat, then they shouldn't cry if they can't hack a full-on obstacle course in full gear with your gear bag on. If you, like, do you know what I mean? There are physical differences between men and women. I'm sorry if you don't believe that.
Yeah, fair. Agreed. Next.
That was, Pearl doesn't know what to do now.
Next? Nothing? Okay. I want to know what your ideal woman is. Because if you are a traditional conservative woman who's married, staying at home, raising kids, you trash them.
There's no such thing as a traditional woman. They cannot be traditional in 2025 because women will always have the leverage.
What does that mean? What
What?
does it mean that women
Because-
will always have the leverage?
Women have child support to fall back on. Women have alimony.
Where?
So automatically,
10% of divorces end with alimony settlement.
Like, do you not understand that alimony is for, like, the loaded, super rich people? Like, normal people that divorce don't pay two checks. They don't pay alimony and divorce and child support. They pay child support.
Settlements.
and
10%.
and they go.
You just ignore the stats.
They
You
go
just move
from
on.
men to women. They go from men to women. Billions
What?
of dollars every
I thought
year.
you said earlier that
Billions
women
of
are paying
dollars of-
alimony.
Billions of dollars of wealth every year is transferred from men to women. Through
Based on what? Where are you
through
getting that
family
information
court.
from? You're just making it up?
Look, we have it. We're excited. We can get it to you at the end.
Oh, we can get it to you at the end. Pearl, that's not how a debate works. You show up with your talking points and your evidence to back up your talking points. You don't just go, trust me, bro, I'll give you my sources later, maybe.
You didn't want to submit. Where are your sources? You didn't want to submit them ahead of time. You did.
The Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics, I cited everything I
Yeah,
mentioned.
she's literally been saying
Pull it up.
everything from
Pearl.
where she's getting it.
The main thing I want people to understand, okay, Pearl's gonna trash women no matter what, that's fine.
I'm not trashing.
But my biggest gripe with you is you're discouraging people from entering marriages.
Yeah.
I don't tell men what to do. Sell me.
You
Okay,
advise
You advise men in the hopes that one day a man will actually sit next to you and want to be around you for more than a minute and marry you. That's what you do. Anna, like, as much as I dislike her, is more pro-marriage than you are. And I never thought I would say that about Anna.
Advise men to avoid marriage.
Sell me on marriage. What do men get out of marriage?
Love?
That's sad. It's sad that people think that. It really is. You get a partner, you get a teammate, you get to build a life together, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. You get love, you get support, you get somebody to come home to every day, you get, like, a soulmate, you get, like, what is wrong with you? Like, do your parents did they, like, never love each other or something? Like, I don't understand how somebody can be this bitter about something she's never experienced.
I feel like misery loves company in this situation.
No personal attacks.
And how would you know what you get out of marriage if you haven't experienced marriage in the first place? I'm not saying that as a personal attack. I really hope that Pearl meets the love of her life and gets married. It's not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
That's the exact, like, there are women that I know in my mom's this way. She hates marriage. She thinks marriage is like this weird, she's the flip side of Pearl, right? Pearl's like, why should men get married? They get fucked over. No. My mom's like, why should women get married? They're just gonna be property. So it's very weird to watch someone who's never been in a long-term, loving, committed, supportive relationship to just shit all over that.
Why do we have phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
Pearl.
Why does she, like, I swear, like, Anna's frustrated with Pearl, because it took Anna, like, Anna said something heartfelt here. Let's just go back.
What the benefits are. It's married. It's not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
Okay? So she says that, and then there's a good, like, 2 seconds.
But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
1, 2.
Why do we have phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
Yeah, see? It took her a full 2 seconds to process that sentence, and that's her response.
Pearl.
Like, do you hear the frustration in Anna's voice? She's like, I cannot be having this discussion with a grown woman right now. I can't.
Answer the question.
Divorce is expensive. And by the way, on purpose, to discourage people from getting divorced in the first place.
Exactly. Marriage, marriage is supposed to be forever. Like, even before the idea of marriage for love, right? When it was marriage to strengthen economic ties and nations and whatever, okay? It was still supposed to be forever. That's why the whole thing in England happened with Henry VIII. Cause they really don't like it when you get divorced.
Why do we have phrases like happy wife, happy life?
Oh my God! What? Why do we have phrases like save a horse, ride a cowboy? That's how stupid you sound right now. They're colloquial sayings. Who cares why we have them? Who fucking cares?
Because it's true. Same with happy husband, happy life. I don't want to come home to an angry husband.
But that's not a phrase.
Do you have any other, like, catchphrase or slogan you want to throw at me?
What do men get out of marriage?
They get a partner.
That gains 25 pounds in the first 5 years.
Men get
Holy fuck, dude! Did Pearl, like, was Pearl born as a female, but with the actual brain of, like, the most awful 1950s male personality? Like, brain chemistry? Like, what the fuck?
Men get pretty fat too. I don't know if you've done a comparative analysis on that. They actually end up gaining more weight than their wives do. And who cares?
Men.
I mean, have a conversation with your partner. Encourage her.
How
Be
can
an adult.
How can men and women
have a communication? Have a communicative discussion with your partner? No.
Have a conversation with your partner. Encourage her. Be an adult.
How can men and women be equal?
Especially if she's giving you
How can men
children.
and women be equal when one is expected to die for the other?
What?
How
Giving you
can men
children.
and women be equal when one is expected to die for the other?
What? Did Pearl go through, like, TikTok for her questions?
I don't expect anyone to die for anyone else. I don't know what that even comes
Yeah, but
from.
men are
Yeah, I
willing to die for you every day. The men in the police force, the men in the military.
What about the women in the police force?
They're 10% and they cause so
So
many
what?
problems.
Who cares what percentage women make up of the police force? They're in the police force. My sis-
that's like saying, can you imagine saying that about, like, a race of police officers? Like, there are only 15% Mexican police officers, so, you know, Mexicans on average just hate humanity, and like, could you imagine? Like, what the fuck?
My sister
How
doesn't
can
call
you
back.
say this about an
They can't do the same
entire
job.
half of the
There's
planet?
videos on the internet
You should see my
everywhere of
sister-in-law.
women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up?
Yes, she is. She literally is. She is making things up, hoping that one of the men in the audience will actually go home with her.
Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously. Next question.
Did she stroke out?
Do you realize how good you have it in this country?
Absolutely.
Do you realize how good you have it?
Best country in the world.
And you get to live the life you live at the expense of men.
No.
So do you! If we're gonna apply your logic, Pearl, so do you!
Oh, that's not true.
That is true.
Show me how.
Do you know how many men die every year?
Wait, just as an average? Just from every cause? Like, just... okay, yeah, a lot. What is that? What? Do you know how many women die every year? What in the fuck is happening right now? Sit on my face and tell me that you love me, words she will never hear. Oh, I should have sent you with my remaining LCBO gift card money. This is bollocks. This is absolute bollocks.
There are men that die every year to get you crab.
How many women die every year during childbirth?
Not many.
Real? Okay, guess what? Not many in developed countries, but a shit ton still in the rest of the world.
This country has the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country, so a lot of women do die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth, yes.
Oh, she's got nothing to say about that. Also, By the way, maternal death, like childbirth death, in the grand scheme historically, has only decreased in the last 100 years because of medicine and germ theory. Before that, women everywhere ran the risk of dying every time they had a kid. Literally every time they had a child and they went into labor before the common practice of clean, hygienic medicine. It was a fucking crapshoot. And if you didn't die pushing out the kid, you could die with what was called childbed fever right afterwards. There's a reason why, when you give birth, they give you antibiotics in the hospital, along with your Motrin and your Tylenol afterwards. It's to keep infection away. So, again, with all of this nonsense, she has no idea what she's talking about. You got this, Pearl! Look, she's shorting out. Look at her. Look, okay.
A lot of women do die.
I'm gonna count how long it takes Pearl to respond from this sentence.
Maternal mortality rate of any developed country. So a lot of women do die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth, yes.
Well, sorry.
It has the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country. So a lot of women do die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth, yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
This is painful, man.
9, 10, 11, 12.
Do you have any other questions for me?
13,
All right,
14,
All right.
15. Oh my god, she gave up. She gave up. She gave up. She said no. I don't have any other. Oh my god.
Should I move on? What are we doing now?
Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's just jump in here. So why don't we do this? I'll ask you one and then I'll ask you one and we'll kind of go back and forth.
Oh my god, the moderator has to come in and save her. Because she has nothing. She has nothing. It's 37 minutes into a 1 hour and 15 minute video and she has nothing.
I kind of half jokingly said at the beginning, like Pearl had mentioned, I think you actually said it here too, that you believe you may be more of a feminist.
Google how many women die each year having a child. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that real quick. Approximately how many women globally die in or just after childbirth each year? Let's see. Around 260,000 to 300,000 women globally die from pregnancy and childbirth complications each year, with recent estimates pointing to about 260,000 in 2023, translating to roughly one death every 2 minutes. But so yeah. That's in 2026, between 2023 and now, okay? Imagine in 1800s and before, when it was balancing the 4 humors of black bile, yellow bile, blood, and oh shit, what was the 4th one? I can't remember. But yeah, that's up until then. It was up until like 1890s. It was balance the humors and get the miasmas away. Can you imagine how many, like if we were able to record how many women died in a year giving birth before hygienic hospitalization practices? Holy Christ. That's insane. Almost over 250,000 people a year die still in modern times due to giving birth. Holy fuck.
Do you consider yourself to be a feminist, and how would you define that?
I don't consider myself to be a feminist, mainly because it's a loaded word, and there are certain outcomes from certain waves of feminism that I don't agree with.
Holy shit. Am I about to agree with Anna Kasparian on something?
Particularly minimizing the importance of men in society. I do think that there is, especially the third wave of feminism that's done that.
Holy fuck.
I personally really value masculine men, and I don't appreciate feminists speaking on behalf of all women in regard to what women prefer. I think the Me Too movement started off as a legitimate grievance with women who were legitimately abused, and it devolved into something laughable and ridiculous, especially when, someone like Aziz Ansari gets accused of being like some sort of sexual predator when he clearly wasn't. So I just don't like how loaded that word is. What I actually genuinely want is equality among the sexes. I'm not looking for women to have an upper hand over men at all.
No.
But we need to be based in reality, and we need to look at the statistics and figure out what's really going on. If men are getting a raw deal as a result of divorces, then yeah, the laws need to change. And I genuinely thought prior to this debate that they were getting the raw end of the deal. But as I researched this, I realized I was believing in outdated myths.
Holy Jesus Christ, I just agreed with everything Anna Kasparian said. What the hell is going on? What the fuck happened? I'm scared.
So, yeah.
Pearl, let me ask you this. Do you believe and obviously you are citing a lot of anecdotal stories. I do think it's fair to point out every anecdotal story is someone's story, right?
Yeah.
So they're not fake stories, and they're not meaningless, obviously, to the people who live those realities. In a lot of cases, they're very painful. Because of your platform, you speak to a lot of those people. How much is that informing where you're coming from in this debate is the real stories of people who've been hurt by this stuff?
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. I interviewed a guy who had his kid transitioned and there was nothing he could do about it. I interviewed another guy and he spent $300,000 trying to get his kid back. He actually went overseas to Ukraine during the war, just trying to be in his kid's life. So yeah, it impacts it a lot.
So
I've interviewed so many men.
So you are an inherently biased debater who can't look at a source in a neutral sense. You only go by anecdote.
Men that want nothing more than to just be a dad and see their kid. They don't even care about the money. They just want to see their children. And if you ask Anna, it doesn't exist, but if you ask any man, everybody knows somebody that it's happened to. And commentators can, they can try to minimize it. They can talk from their ivory towers and pretend it's not happening, but there's a genocide of millions of men that's going on in this country.
Are they dying?
A genocide?
1.6 million men have committed suicide since 1970.
Similar rates of women also attempt suicide, but fail because they usually don't resort to more violent means of ending their own lives.
Right,
so they'll take pills.
Why is it that every time we bring up men, you have to bring up women?
Because we're doing a comparative analysis here. You can't just throw out statistics without comparing it to what the rates are among women.
What I'm pointing out is, I just pointed out that by 2050, more men will have committed suicide than all of the world wars combined.
And where are you getting this statistic is what she's asking you. Holy shit. She's asking you where you're getting these numbers from. And you're getting offended. It's very interesting.
Your first response was, well, women commit suicide too.
Because
They
it is
do.
a problem that is inflicting both sexes in this country. It is a tragedy and should be taken seriously rather than this weird sex war.
But it's not going to be taken seriously when you pretend it's not going on.
It is.
Nobody's, oh my God. Pearl, no one's pretending it's not going on. What the hell are you talking about?
Going on. Are you kidding me? I mean, how many of our soldiers, our veterans, come back to the United States after multiple deployments, do not get treatment or help with PTSD and other mental issues as a result of being deployed multiple times?
Right.
Like, that's a real problem. How come you don't talk about that?
Yeah, but
you
they
blame
come,
it on marriage and divorce instead.
Right, because those soldiers come home to an empty house.
Okay, but how many of those soldiers are actually married in the first place? Like, you're assuming that everybody that kills themselves, every man that kills himself, was married. Or every soldier that has a PTSD episode and takes his life was married. Like, that's not true.
You think that divorce is the reason for most of these suicides?
Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after
How many more
divorce.
times likely are women to commit suicide after a divorce?
What about the women?
You don't know the number,
What
right?
about-
Because you
what
didn't even
about-
care to look into it.
What about the women, though?
Yes, because when you have a debate like this, where you are speaking about two demographics of people, you need to have the numbers for both of those demographics. And asking if you have the information on the other demographic that you happen to be shitting all over is not an offensive question. It is proper debate etiquette.
That's always what you go to. And that's kind of what I'm trying to point out is feminists don't care about male issues. They don't. They do not care about equality. Because whenever...
No. Feminists, a real feminist, cares about male issues and equality because a male issue and a female issue are generally just human issues. And a feminist that isn't stuck in this weird sex war that you seem to be stuck in actually gives a fuck about real equality.
Whenever you ask them for real equality...
Pearl, my point is that suicide is not just a male issue. It is a huge problem in this country. Women who try to end their own lives are less successful because, again, they're less likely to use a gun, for instance, or hang themselves. They'll take pills, it'll fail. It's just a tragic thing all around.
Yeah.
But if you actually care about suicide rates, then you would want to know what's causing the suicide rates or the attempts at suicide.
Divorce.
What can we do as a society?
It's not just divorce. It's divorce and economy and homelessness and drug addiction and mental illness and childhood trauma and abuse and on and on and on because life fucking sucks, Pearl. It's not just divorce.
To help people to prevent that from happening, and you wouldn't make it specifically and solely an issue that inflicts one sex over the other.
No, you would not. Oh shit! She's making sense! What do I do?
Again, I mean, you're just proving my point because we talk about male
No,
issues,
she's
you bring
not!
it back to the women. Look,
I just want
I
you
mean-
to compare the stats you're spewing right now
Okay.
with something to compare it to.
Okay. Do you think that women should be on the front lines of the military like the men?
If they can pass the physical test necessary to do so,
think,
yeah.
Do you think women should be in selective service like the men?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and they should be on the front lines as infantrymen.
If they are physically capable of doing it, yes.
Yeah, if you've got like a fucking one of those Amazonian chicks that's like 6 foot tall with the big thighs and the big muscles and she can hack it, oh fuck, sure, off she goes.
Okay, so no.
What?
So you want to put physically capable of doing it, yes.
Okay, so no.
Wait, so Anna's saying that if a woman can pass the military physical tests, then yes, she should be on the front line, is saying no because Anna's not just saying, oh yes, let's have all women willy-nilly, even the 5 foot tall, 90-pound ones that can't lift 30 pounds, let alone a fucking full gear bag and a gun, should be in the military. Okay.
So you want to put people who aren't physically... I mean, obese men wouldn't be put on the front lines.
No.
Do you think women should be jailed for false accusations?
Depends on what the false accusations are. If
Just
she's
yes or
falsely
no?
accusing someone of rape, for
Just
instance,
or no?
yes.
Just okay. Thank you. I agree. Do you think that child custody should be 50-50?
As long as
Are
the
we
court
back here
determines
again?
that both parents are capable of being caretakers, yes. In fact, that's the ideal situation.
Okay. So
Why is she laughing at this? Like, is this nervous laughter because she knows she's losing?
yes.
Yes.
All right. Do you believe in alimony?
I believe in alimony in specific cases where the woman decided to forego having a career and working, decided to stay home and raise the kids. In those cases, I believe she deserves alimony, yes.
But that's a privilege.
How is that a privilege? Do you realize how long it took for alimony to even be a codified thing?
You're ridiculous. Anyway, next, move
wait,
on.
You said it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous,
that it's a privilege
especially,
to stay home with
especially
your
coming from a girl who grew up in an affluent situation with incredibly wealthy parents. You don't know anything about struggling economically or financially. So to tell a single mother who decided to stay home and raise her children instead of work that she doesn't deserve a penny to raise her kids after a divorce is the most privileged piece of shit thing to say.
Yeah. She's not wrong. And the fact that Pearl is sitting, oh yeah, okay, are you done? Are you done? I'm just a dumb blonde bitch.
Next.
This is the type of nagging that drives men to suicide.
Good. But I'm married and you're not, so...
This is exactly the kind of nagging that drives men. Oh, what? Proving you wrong drives men to suicide?
Next.
Jesus Christ. I get it.
A little harder to debate someone who's not an OnlyFans girl, right?
Whoa. She's not wrong, because most of the time, Pearl picks the dumb, ditzy, all I do is pound my pussy OnlyFans girl. She doesn't pick somebody who actually has a fucking brain.
Never. I don't need to. Not that I'm judging.
It's why isn't paternity fraud illegal?
We've been over this already.
She's literally repeating everything that she's just asked. Like, holy fuck, she's got nothing.
Are fathering children that are not theirs.
I don't really believe your stats. Like, where are you getting that
The American Blood
stat
Bank
from?
Association, are you happy?
Okay,
1/3 of
The American Blood Bank Association?
that's wrong.
paternity
And
tests.
yeah, there should be consequences for that.
But there aren't.
Okay.
But there aren't. Where
And there
have the
should be. So
feminists
we agree
been?
on that. Next.
Right, you can agree, but you haven't covered it. And
Okay, but she did. But she did cover it. And you guys talked about this like 25 minutes ago. So, I really don't understand.
that's my point, is you guys don't care about equality. You want freedom at the expense of men.
Okay, sure. Next.
Do you think that men should have the right to opt out of fatherhood, since women have the right to opt out of motherhood?
No.
I'm sorry, what?
Put a condom on.
Who has... Everybody has okay. There are ways to sign away your parental rights, whether you're male or female. What is this bullshit?
You don't want to have children, put a condom on.
Or require him to wear a condom. That's equal.
Yeah.
That choice is equally irresponsible.
He's the one with the Johnson. He gets to decide what he does with it.
I think I'm more of a feminist than you.
Sure. Go great. Congratulations.
Nah. Yeah, why would you want to be a feminist? You spent this whole time shitting all over feminism and how bad it is. And now you're like, I think I'm more feminist than you. Like, okay, cool. If feminism is so shitty, and even Anna thinks third wave feminism is shitty, then why would you want to be?
This is the longest 30 minutes of my life.
Okay, I'm going to interject again if I can.
All right.
No, I was kidding. So one thing that I do think is happening is that there is a shift that is taking place in America, and I think you both have alluded to this a little bit. And so I'll ask Anna first if you would agree with this. Because you said that going into this debate, you thought a lot of these things were true.
Right.
And you started to see that maybe these things were not as true as you had believed. Do you believe that your previous belief was informed by nonsense, or the fact that states and legislatures and courts are changing what they're doing over the last few years in terms of alimony and parental time and that kind of thing?
I think that with more women participating in the workforce, it's hard to argue that, women should get paid alimony when they have their own income.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think that the culture has changed, the workforce has changed, and as a result of that, the courts weigh whether or not something like alimony makes sense. And look, much like Pearl, I had heard the horror stories, and I was basing much of my worldview on situations like this based on anecdotes, basically. And so when you look at the statistics and the broader picture, you have a clearer idea of what's actually happening in the aftermath of a divorce.
Would you be willing to concede at least that maybe some of the reasons some of these things are shifting is because of people like Pearl and others who are drawing attention to these stories? Because I think we could all agree that until recently, a lot of those stories were just stories you hear from other people, and it was not allowed in media at all. It was not discussed.
Honestly, no. I would like to hear Anna's thing, but I'm gonna say no, because there are plenty of not just MRAs that aren't insane, like Pearl, but there are also legal channels on YouTube that, like looking at legal stuff, for example, provide hearings from family court that clearly demonstrate the shift of equal treatment in the court system. And I think that there are a lot more people that consume that type of content than you think. And I think it's not just the men's rights activists, but legal channels like that that also provide the first-hand knowledge that, yes, family court is shifting its viewpoint.
Would you at least concede that?
I'm sure that there are advocates who have fought to maybe change the way these court cases play out, sure. I don't know about Pearl, though.
I understand. We're in the debates. You can't give too much credit. Pearl, in your experience, the men that you talk to, do you see a difference in terms of the age of those men, where maybe it's getting better for some? Because I would take it that some of the guys who are a little older and have been through this in the past, the courts are starting to recognize and realize that maybe it's not very fair.
No.
No?
No. No. Like, there's nothing.
No.
Why, and why do you believe that? You think the courts are completely
I mean,
oblivious to it?
Oh my God, he's helping her. He's like, okay, you have to give me more. Why do you think that?
There's men that write into my show every day just talking about how much they want to be fathers. So I hope it changes, but right now I would say no.
Do you think it's fair that all
of the bullshit
young women who were preyed upon as minors by Jeffrey Epstein are now experiencing yet another administration engaging in a cover-up? Or was it the female shade upon? Do you think it's fair that all of the young women who were preyed upon as minors by Jeffrey Epstein are now experiencing yet another administration engaging in a cover-up?
Nice.
Or was it the female's fault for being preyed upon by a disgusting pedophile?
I like that.
I'm just curious.
What kind of question is that?
A valid question, considering your standpoint over the past 50 minutes.
I think it's a pretty straightforward one.
That has nothing to do with the topic.
No,
Yeah,
it
it's
does
everything
though,
to do
because
with
you're
the
talking
topic.
about the unfairness of our court system, especially as it pertains to divorces. But we're talking about a guy who got a sweetheart deal after raping minor girls, and then even after that, multiple
kills me
administrations,
that she
Democrat,
just said
Republican,
that
doesn't matter,
too,
engaged in a cover-up, ensuring that those victims would never get justice.
And this has to do with this.
I mean, you want to talk about the unfairness in the court system and how terrible it is for men. What about how terrible it is for women?
Look, that has nothing to do with anything.
It has a lot to do
I think
with
in
what we're
fairness,
talking
you got to admit that's an anecdote too in comparison to the overall statistics.
It's a pretty big anecdote.
He's a big anecdote, but he's also an untouchable anecdote, right? He's
I don't
a
think
little
it's
different than
untouchable.
most-
I think
than
it's
most
super
people.
touchable.
So let's.
How is it untouchable to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and the fact that all these women are not getting justice because all these powerful people are being protected?
Let's go back to actually hold on. We got 10 seconds, so we won't hold on. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're actually going to take a break. We're gonna come off of the stage, and then we're gonna actually go up to the analysts and get their take on this first 30 minutes. All right?
Sounds
take it away,
good.
Sam.
You know what? Let me skip ahead. I'm going to put this on solo cam for a minute. My analysis is Anna completely steamrolled Pearl. Pearl did zero preparation. Pearl treated this like it was a grade 10 high school debate class. Oh shit, I have a debate in 20 minutes. I better pull out my usual video talking points. You know, like, there was no preparation. And then when Anna would ask for her sources, Pearl would get offended and, like, start laughing about, you know, oh, why are you asking me for sources? Like, well, what are you talking about? You're in a debate. What do you Oh, let's see. Yeah, you can't use 22 a day over marriage. That's funny. No, this is crazy. Like, the amount of just unprepared, absolute bullshit that Pearl just was, as Anna said, she was just pulling this out of her butt. She had no anything. She had no evidence. She had no nothing. She had absolutely nothing. Okay, we're gonna do closing statements really quick and end our misery. We're gonna end our misery with our closing statements here.
All right, we have 5-minute closing statements where you will not attack each other or call each other names. Anna, you're first.
I'm just going to go ahead and read what I couldn't get to in my opening statement, if you don't mind. Taking advice from someone like Pearl will ensure that you will be lonely and incredibly sad. If you have this dark view of an entire sex, nearly 50% of the country, I can't imagine living day to day being a happy person.
Yeah. Like, the way that she thinks about women, like, how is it okay to think about women? Is it okay to think about men that way?
I don't know what Pearl actually believes. Part of me feels like this is a shtick. But I'm going to take what you say at face value and just think you genuinely believe it. And if you do genuinely believe it, I actually feel really bad for you.
Yeah.
If you think women in general fit in this weird description where they're looking to take advantage of people, where they're looking to rip people off, where they're looking to get married only to divorce and steal a man's money, you live in an alternate universe. Sometimes divorces are ugly. Sometimes there are bad women who make things up, who lie about rape, and there should be consequences for that.
But there aren't.
The difference between
Pearl, shut the fuck up. This is not your turn to talk.
you and me is that I think the bad behavior of women deserves consequences, just like the bad behavior of men deserves consequences. That's what
One's
equality
legal,
is.
one's not.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, muzzle that dog.
What What you're advocating for is a society in which men get away with everything and women get blamed for everything.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, what else am I going to say?
All right, that was her close.
All right. I can go? Yeah.
Might as
All
well.
right.
Jump in there.
Feminists are mainly white, middle-class, female liberals who have no idea how the real world works and yet want to advise you on how to live in it.
Pearl, you are a white... Oh my...
Let me go through your complaints. Feminists want control over their bodies. You win. You have 12 types of birth control, and you can actually Uber Eats a Plan B. You have abortion on demand, and
You can Uber Eats condoms. What are you bitching for?
states that it's not, it's simply a weekend trip. You have aborted an eighth of the world population. You win.
What the fuck are you talking about? So, all the women in America have aborted an eighth of the world's population.
Feminists wanted to fight against rape culture. You win. If a woman is raped, assaulted, or if she revokes consent after the fact, she has the power to get a man fired from his job, kicked out of school, or thrown in jail. You won, feminists. Women want to be free of traditional gender roles, fine. Men invented the dishwasher, the Roomba, the air fryer, fast food, and Uber Eats. There are meal prep services and cheap restaurants. You win. Women wanted to have a career first and get married later in life. Men allowed women to come into the workforce and have millions of dollars.
Allowed women. They allowed women into the workspaces. They allowed. Listen to her language.
In funding, pushing women into male-dominated fields and scholarships, and invented IVF to give us another 5 years of fertility. The husbands pay for the IVF, and they're pushing to get it taxpayer-funded. You win. Women wanted to be sexually liberated instead of getting married. Men invented Tinder and Hinge, so random men can literally come to your door. The men from your hometown are not good enough. Men invented social media, so you can get flown out by the highest status men in the world.
Oh yeah, because going to Dubai is for whatever debauchery goes down there is so uplifting.
Women did not want to work labor jobs, fine. Men invented social media so you can talk into a microphone and get paid. You can now work from home.
That's what you do! That's literally what you do!
So you can have a family and be a mom. You can make money selling your nudes on the internet and become a billionaire. Women did not want to give birth, fine. Men invented surrogacy so another woman can do it for you.
Men invented that? Are you sure?
Women wanted to be thin without working out, now you have Ozempic. You want to look younger, fine. Men
Yeah, because no men take Ozempic.
invented Botox, hair dye, filters on your phone, nose jobs, and a nose, plastics.
Yeah, because men never use Botox, men never use hair dye, men never get plastic surgery.
Lash extensions, makeup, and AI to make you look thinner.
You should
win.
look into it.
You can now wait till 40 to have a baby, freeze your face, work in an air-conditioned office, earn a living sitting on your ass, getting fat, spending money you don't have, marry someone to pay it off, divorce him, put him on alimony and child support, get a Roomba, abort your kid, have unprotected sex on camera, get paid for it, order any cooked food to your door, get a self-driving car, and then complain to men that they caused you to be lazy and fat. You are...
Pearl, how about you just unalive yourself if you hate life so
now
much?
empowered to have 10 abortions, bang 300 men, take a DEI position that pays $300K a year, Uber Eats a Plan B, study underwater basket weaving, and get sympathy when your degree pays no money. Feminists are spoiled, liberal, progressive women that have no idea how good they have it. You guys will never be happy until men are nothing but empty shells who are slaves to the system, fueled by feminists' selfishness, spending habits, and poor choices. Feminists don't care about equality because if they did, there would be equal rights for men. There would be equal men's shelters. There would be equal funding for men's cancer. There would be real equality. I checked 20 different feminist websites and have not found one that mentioned a single issue that asked for men to be equal.
Did you actually, go to statistical websites? You only went to biased sources, like feminism sites.
Only ask for special
prove
treatment.
your point.
Feminism has empowered women to destroy this country through the death of 1,000 cuts. Feminism is not about equality, it's about insidious domination. It has been a slow creep to where women are complaining about their non-existent oppression. Men have figured this out because they're highly adaptive and the math is not mathing. I am curious to know, feminists plan when men refuse to stop providing, protecting, and maintaining the civilization you enjoy corrupting. Feminists are about to fuck around and find out. Feminists Feminists have won. You destroyed every single male group that used to be strictly for men, like Boy Scouts. You can falsely accuse men of rape, harassment, and endless lawsuits.
Blah,
Feminists have
blah,
more
blah, blah, repeat, loop, 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 loop. I'm not doing this. No. She's looped 5 fucking times in her closing statement. Jesus Christ. I feel like I just had a lobotomy. Oh my God. That was bad. That was... Whew. That was rough. That was rough. Holy shit. I wonder what Pearl thinks of all the mothers that work in the Trump administration. That's a good question, honey. But I am fucking tapped. I'm gassed out. My energy is done. Fucking stick a fork in me. I am finished. That was awful. I can't believe. First of all, I can't believe that I actually agreed with Anna Kasparian on something, and also I can't believe that I survived Pearl in a long-term discussion. Holy shit. Whew, that was fucking painful, but wow, what a steamroll. What a steamroll that was. But I think I'm gonna go and listen to something intelligent. Like maybe something sciencey. I don't know. I need to fucking cleanse my brain. Ugh, what a terrible thing. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will see you guys tomorrow. I think the 1 o'clock timeline is pretty good. So, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll look at some other stuff, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Thursday. Stay warm and stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.